We good? We ready? Hello and welcome to Mark's Inspirational Podcast, the Power is Within podcast. Today, I got a small little podcast going on, but it's a very, very, very important one in my opinion.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the rest of the family to show up.
Right. But we will see how that goes. So how's everybody doing?
Pretty good. I'm chilling.
You're doing good?
You know.
All right, go ahead. For the people who haven't been on the podcast before, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark. I'm the dad here of Mark, Henry. I try to remember all the names. Claude. Frank is our tech man. Paulina's in bed. I yelled at her 3 or 4 times to get out here, so hopefully she'll make it. Kevin's sleeping. I know he's awake, but he didn't want to get out of bed either. So I told him, I said, hey, you're not going anywhere today if you can't participate in the family podcast.
Right. He yelled at her. And then we got to my right over here.
Hey, wake up. Wake
My
up.
bad,
over
yeah.
there.
I'm awake. Hey, Claude,
I'm just ready
Claude
to
Daniels,
get some rounds in later,
22 years old.
For sure. And then I'm Mark Daniels, wonderful son of the Mark Daniels, of course.
Yeah.
But today we're going to be pretty much running through some of the videos of the recent fights that we've had. I know we haven't had a podcast in a very long time, but we're going to get back on the roll. As you see, the setup is a little bit different here. And if you see these chains, our father actually tortures. No, I'm playing.
Yeah.
No, we
actually, how do I keep them under control?
yeah. No, so we actually, my father actually proceeded to build a ring inside of next to in the podcast room. Actually, we got a big enough room
Can
to
you
do
show
that,
them the
so.
ring, Frank?
But this is where we do some of our practicing, some of our sparring.
There it
It's
is.
pretty fantastic. As you can see, those are the weapons of mass destruction we use against our father. No, but no.
So we had to rearrange squeeze us in here a little bit in this room.
Yeah.
It's a big room.
Yeah,
But
it's a big room. You know, when you get in here, you kind of get to realize, like, dang, it's big enough to have a podcast table and a ring in here. So that's what we've been doing kind of for a while. If you guys want to let them know what you guys have been up to and everything, that'd be fantastic. Pops, you want to go first? The man of the
why do
house.
I have to start first? Okay, here's the deal. Yeah, we haven't done the podcast every Saturday for about the last 2 or 3 months because our business has pretty well exploded. The painting and restoration company, which Claude and Henry and Mark and sometimes Frank, we all work together. It's we've turned it into a partnership this year instead of me owning the company and them being employees. We're all partners in the company now. That it's this very moment is being put together by the accountant. I got the LLP license from the state of Missouri, and he's doing the details, putting all that together. I was going to the accountant is like going to a lawyer when you're going through a divorce or if you're in trouble with the law. It's like I was procrastinating. I didn't want to go there. It's like, I don't know why. I guess I'm afraid I have to pay taxes. I'm sure I'm going to have to pay a little something. Anyway, just like the lawyer, you know, the accountant's going to cost you some money. If nothing else, you at least have to pay him. But I finally faced the fear and I went there and we're getting that set up. And we were a little slow the last couple months, but we did work all winter this year and been given a lot of bids. So that has really taken up a lot of my time. And of course, I love that as much as I love making videos and getting together and doing the podcast.
Sometimes life catches you, you know what I mean? So, Wade, how you doing, man? It's been a long time.
What's up,
good?
Wade?
What's good? Claude, you want to let them know what you've been up to?
Besides sleeping,
Yeah,
chasing 304s. Let me tell you what happened last time I opened this door. No, I'll let you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a girl in my room. That's all we're gonna say.
Oh yeah.
We won't get into details, but not very much. You know, just been going to the gym, working with Dad, obviously, and there was recently there was Golden Gloves. Unfortunately, I got sick and couldn't fight, but it was good being there and supporting the team. So.
Wasn't it after you and I worked out?
Yeah.
I beat you up pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
No, last time
Flip the clip. No,
last time you tried to beat me up.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, that's pretty much about it. Hoping to, get out a little bit more. Hang out with you, do more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to get some more money. Spend
He
more
who
money.
consorts with harlots squanders his wealth.
Every time
and his strength.
I hang out with Mark, I always feel like money's gonna come out of my pocket, but money's not a problem. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
looking
sure.
forward to
There's
coming out
women
a lot more.
apparently. Huh.
All right.
And so
well,
tell us, Claude, let's detail on this a little bit. For you guys out there that think, oh, you got to be 6 feet tall, you got to be this, you got to be. How tall are you, Claude?
Like 5'3", 5'4".
And how much do you weigh?
120 pounds.
Okay. And how many women have you been with in the last couple months? Different, at least 5. I know.
Like 4,
four,
5.
four or
Just
five.
Just about, yeah.
So, and that's not counting what happened the year before that, the year before that. So, if you believe that, it's true for you, but it's really not true at all unless you believe it's true. And
Yep.
it's true.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Henry, what you been up to, man?
I fought in Golden Gloves. Lost by decision.
Had to sleep out in a doghouse.
Yeah.
And then take the beating from me the next day.
Yeah, sure. And then I been doing some sparring
Oh, yeah.
with the pros and stuff. Been getting some really good rounds in. I didn't get beat up too bad yesterday, but I will say my jaw is a little sore from getting punched. But I don't know. It was pretty fun. It's been great. I've been just sticking to the fighting and stuff, and having some regular life struggles, but nothing I can't.
Yeah,
And
if
like,
you guys got any questions you want in the chat, put them in the chat and we'll be glad to answer them for you.
it ain't life without a couple struggles, though. You know.
Yeah. I have. What have I been up to? Been up to a lot. Been trying to overthrow my dad off the throne. No, I'm playing.
Yeah,
But-
they'll try. You see, the king is still here.
No, I've been pretty busy actually. So I want to say within the last 3 months, how long has it been since we did a podcast? Probably
Oh,
been.
we did one a couple months ago. What did we do?
Yeah.
No, Christmas. We did the
Yeah.
$500 giveaway.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
so
was what, January, February.
Two
two,
2 or 3 months ago.
well, it's March now. Just two months,
About
a
2
week
months
or
ago.
so.
Coming up on
Jump
3
back
months.
into the gym.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got back into the gym, newfound sobriety, so I'm better than everybody. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But so that been helping raise my girlfriend raise my son. He is a big boy now, 10 months old, 2 more months, and he'll be a year. It's like
Yeah.
time flies, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, time flies when you're having fun. I don't know. Been doing a whole lot of working with you. Getting ready to move out of this place that we're in and hopefully move into a new one. Got our passports, so we're gonna run away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got our passports here recently, just to get us ready for whatever travels we're wanting to do here soon. So quite a bit. I mean, I could probably keep going on what have we done. Like Claude said, I got back into the gym, so I'm trying to lose a couple pounds again. Got quite overweight from doing nothing. Didn't feel too good. Can't
Yeah.
breathe going up the steps or holding my son. But yeah, I've been keeping kind of busy, honestly, doing a whole lot of what is it called? Self-searching, soul searching, or something like that. Just trying to figure out a little bit more
Contemplation.
contemplation,
Self-reflection.
self-reflection. Just trying to do a little bit of everything, but along with that, just trying to better myself every single day since the last podcast. A lot of stuff has happened within these past couple months. It's kept us super busy with our lives. But I think that here soon we'll be able to kind of get back on track. Hopefully give everybody the Saturday podcast and everything like that.
And I had a ticket to Bucharest back in December, but I got that dreaded whatever it was, cough and sneeze and all that going around. So it's took 3 months for that to go away. So I didn't go, but God is good. I had a flight. It was a non-refundable flight, but one of the flights got canceled on the way over, and then one of the flights got canceled on the way back. And even though I didn't go, they refunded me the whole price of the ticket. So isn't that amazing? So it all worked out there as far as money goes.
Yep, it all works in strange ways. Just kind of got to let go and let God, like Dad
Yeah.
always said. Never really understood what that meant until here recently, So what's on the plan, on the agenda for the videos? I think we're going to watch somebody's fight. Whose fight are we watching first? Claude's or Henry?
Let's watch mine first.
Oh, okay. All right. So I
Yeah,
guess
we
we'll
can watch
watch
mine first.
Claude's fight. Which one was this one?
I don't know if he's got him in
The last
order
one that you
or
had?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be the most.
The one you were
recent
robbed of, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had
Is
that.
the
I
one
was
they
still
stopped?
thinking of that one fight that where
With
we all
Vaheen.
fought. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. We can see the whole
Yeah, he's
time.
pretty tall, pretty hard to reach.
Can they still see us in a little box down below?
I think so. I don't know. Let me check.
Well, not they have to see us. As long as they can see this, and hear us.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Man, I'm thinking
Okay.
about how it was once I stepped in there.
So what are you thinking right there? Before we start. There you are in the corner. They're getting ready. The referee's getting ready to give you guys the go. What are you thinking, Claude?
I'm thinking. Okay.
You're thinking I want my daddy, right?
I'm thinking. Okay. No, I'm thinking. Okay, this guy's tall. I'm perfectly calm. I know exactly what to do. I was like,
For anybody who doesn't know, Claude's over in the black and the blue gloves on the left. And
I was like, I'm just gonna have to try to get on the inside and work this guy down.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I was very excited
get
for
it.
this fight.
All right, let's roll.
Oh, yeah. You can hear it a little bit.
Do they have the sound?
Can you turn it up a little bit, Franker?
Claude's
I
after
heard the
him, man.
ding.
You're on that guy.
Oh, man, this was such a great fight to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. They can't.
We actually traveled an hour and like 30 minutes in a horrible blizzard trying to get to this fight. It was pretty wicked out there.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh yeah, you
realize
can
it
kind of
was-
hear it a little bit. I think if you can somehow turn it up, Frank, I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, he's all over that guy.
Pretty hard to reach. He had some long reach. But
Now, so far, I'd say you're winning this round.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Pretty
Shoot.
aggressive. He landed more punches. He's not landing. He's jabbing, but he's not.
Yeah, he's not really landing anything
No,
major.
he's
hit
too
him a few
fast. Quad's too
times.
fast.
It's tough when a guy gets all over you, like you're getting on him.
Yes,
pressure,
getting
yeah.
smothered. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's trying to go for them body shots, just can't reach. And
Oh,
Quad
that
knocked him
one-
down with a
that
body
one
shot
felt
right
Oh,
here.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
That was fantastic right there. I'm
Yeah,
telling
that
you
one
what.
felt really good.
That was
I forgot what happened here in this fight. Okay.
that was the first round. That was first round too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you dropped him with a body
I thought
shot.
I thought that was. a
You got
gut
the
shot. It
second
turned out to
round?
be
Pull
a
out,
rib
Frank.
shot.
You got second round on there? Okay, that's after
Okay.
Quad knocked him down.
All right, well, let's see what happens.
Claude
here.
goes to his neutral corner over there. Claude's like, bet.
Come on then.
All right, go ahead, Frank.
Little technical difficulties. Please bear with us. It's been a long
I
time.
could have walked to the corner, but I'm like, nah. I was like, let's keep going.
Go ahead. He got him an 8 count. Hey, he got up pretty decent from that one.
Yeah.
I have not. I'm yet to feel a body shot that knocks me down like
did
that.
this
though.
fight get stopped? I can't
Uh-uh.
remember. No.
No, they went all 3 rounds.
He had everybody up in the damn corner standing up. You see that? Had the crowd standing up. Had
Yeah,
everybody on their feet.
I forgot about this. fight.
Yeah, he started to get more aggressive after that body shot.
He had to.
Yeah.
He had no choice. I'm not a big fan of headgear simply because of the whole having to.
Yeah, it's tough. He can't see. He gets hit.
See, Claude still putting
Yeah,
pressure
I
on him.
know.
Claude for sure had this round. Even
Yeah, 100%.
Even if he wouldn't have
Yeah.
knocked him down with the body shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a couple times I see.
Because this guy's hardly barely ever hit.
He's scared. Well, the problem is he's got to get so close to hit Quad. He's afraid to get in there.
There, you got him there.
Boom, boom, boom,
Again.
boom,
Again.
boom.
Yeah.
Man,
That
that
too.
one was
Yeah,
mean, dude.
When that two would land.
That one was
I was
ignorant,
like,
bro. That one was ignorant as hell.
Yeah.
That was definitely that
So
was.
how many rounds you got of it? You have all 3 rounds there?
You have all 3 rounds in there, Frank, or no? Okay.
Now this is the last round. And I was thinking by remembrance the other guy won this round, but
No, he Quad. Whenever even my buddies walked in, they
I can't
walked
remember.
in on the second round,
Oh
and
man, I got juiced out this round. I'm not gonna lie.
shoot, you were still
I
fighting.
remember
with
you
some
got
spirit.
tired, but
See, on the big screen, it looks so different.
It does,
It
yeah.
does,
Be a lot
So much more clear, yeah.
yeah.
It's funny because I'm so short. It's hard to reach a body shot on me.
Yeah. But when you do, you've got, like Dad says, you know, them body punches are just lethal. You see? Boom.
you're-
Oh man.
God, I can't believe that.
So evidently the kid who Quad fought had sold 40 tickets or something like that, and now he was a hometown gym. We had went to, where was it?
It was also his
He
coach's
got you
event.
there with a couple, but still.
What was the place called? Hillsboro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about an hour 30 from where we're
Yeah,
at.
it's his hometown.
So his hometown, he sold a bunch of tickets and everything like that, and they ended up giving him the fight.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of people who watched it, who also were there, didn't necessarily agree with the decision, but that's boxing for you, you know.
Yeah, I
Oh
wasn't
man,
with
the
that
one,
one.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, because you were talking about where it was at Hillsborough. I was thinking about it. It was really funny. That was me fighting cold. That wasn't me fighting warm.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you didn't have anybody there to warm you up.
Yeah, there wasn't, and there also wasn't enough room for me to like warm up and move around. And
Yeah.
stuff, so
Can
I
you
just
raise that
boxed a
screen up
little
just
bit.
a little bit, Frank, so I can see the bottom there?
Which,
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. See what we got watching. We
But
got 5 watching. Hit that
no.
like button, guys. We
We
got
got-
5 of you and only 1 like.
we
Hit
got
another
7
like.
people
Give
watching.
us a like.
actually. That's
Oh, 7?
Yep, 7 people watching.
So what do you think about that, Clyde, after you got screwed? I think you won the decision. I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Well, I
I'll sit there
thought,
and get
like-
resentment again watching that.
I thought I was like, I was like,
Thanks, Wade.
after I lost, I was like, well, I was like, it happens. I was like, I mean, me personally, I knew I won. I knew
Yeah,
I
oh,
had it.
100%.
I thought I did think he got the upper hand in the last round, but all those rounds I knew I had it because he was landing the 1 and the 2, but he didn't really know how to throw any combinations.
Yeah.
And
He threw a lot of punches, but he rarely connected. Now, in
Yeah.
that last
Yeah.
round, he hit you a few times.
Yeah.
But that first round or two, he hardly ever hit you.
Did he hit
Yeah.
hard at all? He didn't hit hard at all, did he?
oh no, not
Yeah.
even a little bit. No, there was one punch to the gut, but that wasn't even close enough to. It didn't
Yeah.
hurt enough to knock me down. It was after I lost, I was like, it was fun. I was glad I got in there. You know, you're nervous when you first get in
Yeah.
there, but then after you get in there, sometimes the nervousness completely goes away, and you know that like you
It
know.
always did for me. Once I got punched in the head one time,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
You just know that it's time to fight. It's time for war, and what the cool thing about it is that the whole outside world disappears. It's just
Yeah.
it's
You and that guy in that ring.
Yeah,
man.
it's
I
just
definitely
being
understand.
I don't know. I
And then-
remember the ring girls walking by when I was.
And then,
Yeah.
You guys don't have the good looking ones like we used to.
the one thing I really like about getting in there is that when you get in there and fight and the whole world outside disappears, it almost feels like it's you against you.
You're in the moment.
Yeah.
You're living in that moment. That's what makes that stuff so exciting.
Mhm.
People don't realize when you're doing something that's dangerous or really challenging, you're living in that moment. And that's where life is. It's always in the now, in this
Yeah.
very moment.
Yeah, and then you also got to think about it. It's like, depending on who's putting the most work in, like going up against somebody, it's like that's either their den or your den. You
Mhm.
know, like who? Like you both step in there. Who's stepping into the wrong?
Into whose den? Yeah, who's
Yeah,
stepping into
who's
whose
stepping-
territory? You know,
Yeah,
who's
at that point.
granted it was his hometown, but you treated the ring like it was your territory.
Uh-huh.
By the way that you operated and moved in that fight, that's almost the same as your last fight. Before that one, you became a different fighter. Since fighting that guy, that one guy that you fought twice already, since fighting him, you became more like a dog.
Yeah.
I want to say, you know what I mean? Like you became more aggressive. You're a whole lot more of an aggressive fighter now and everything. And I mean, even watching that right there, it's like, you know, you're like, oh, you know, from first glance, you know, a lot of our friends come to boxing and they come to our boxing events and stuff. And even they, off of first glance, will automatically assume, oh, taller guys got it. Taller guys got it. But then, you know, they get to watching and everything like that. And then you get to realize like, oh, okay, well, maybe most of the time from what I've seen, them shorter guys are like, you know, a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the tall guys, unless the tall guys have that reach and they use it, which most guys don't. Henry has been shorter than almost all his fighter besides Minaj, right? Minaj was shorter than you, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you have been taller than every other fighter, but because everybody's mind. So going back to what you said this morning, Dad, about Quad being a shorter guy, you know, people think, oh, you got to be 6 foot something to conquer the world, you know, to be a player, to be a good fighter. That gets proven wrong a lot of the times in our lives because although Henry is taller than all of us and is a taller guy, even when it comes to some of the fighters that he's fighting, he's still shorter than some of the fighters that he's fighting.
That's funny because a lot of the people that I go up against always look so much bigger than me.
Yeah, but then you guys end up fighting, and it's like, then, you know, for example, like the guy that you fought at the Golden Gloves here recently, he was just a tiny bit taller, but when you guys took a picture next to each other, it's like, there's not that much of a difference. You're wider, you know what I mean? Your arms are bigger and everything. So it's just kind of like back to what you were saying, Dad. It's like it's up here. It's all up in your head. You know, if you think that that's what you need, then most likely you're going to encounter that.
Right,
You're going to encounter that.
Is our sound good, Frank? Put a 1 in the chat if our sound is good.
One thing I was gonna say is it was really funny because he was standing in front of me and Coach Ed whispered in my ear. She's like, "Man, look at this guy." She's like, "You can break him in half." So it felt like it when I got him with that gut shot.
Oh yeah,
And
for
when I got
sure.
him with that liver shot.
Oh, I thought you were going to win as soon as you got him with that gut shot. But you know,
Thanks, Wade.
one of the
Right.
things that sucks is like, you know, I asked Coach what she thought about it. Obviously, she didn't agree with it too much, but she ended up texting some of the judges and asking what was going on. Unfortunately, in amateur boxing,
Thanks, Peyton.
they don't have to count a body shot as a knockdown.
Yeah, they don't.
Or they don't count it.
Seriously.
Yep, they don't. And I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
So I was thinking Claude was. So you won that first round regardless.
Yeah, even if you hadn't knocked him down.
But
you won
that
the
first body shot, the body shot that knocked him down means nothing. And I didn't know that until recently because
I guess it means it's a landed punch.
it's a landed punch.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that
I guess
either.
it means something if you can't get back up.
Yeah, if you can't get back up, you know what I mean. But for the most part, we've seen a lot of fights over at Golden Gloves over the weekend because we went for the finals this weekend. And I don't know if I told you about this, but there was a guy there who was fighting, and he could hardly speak any English. So our coach had to go and translate for him because she can speak a little bit of Spanish too. So she had to go over there and translate for him, let him know what he needs to do. And everybody was making it seem like, oh, this poor kid, he doesn't have his coaches there. He's got a language barrier and all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, after watching him for a little bit, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't think that guy needs any sort of guidance. Evidently, nobody really knows this, but evidently the dude fought in Colombia since he was like 10 years old. He moved to the United States,
Colombia,
registered
South America,
registered under USA Boxing here in the US, and he was put as an open fighter, or as a novice fighter.
Closed novice.
So he's in the closed division. Who knows how many other fights? He walked the guy. He dog walked him. But it wasn't him. He was a good kid. He really was. I talked to him after the fight. It was his coach. And his coach was also the guy who had put that kid who was 32 fights against one of our other guys. So this guy is not, he's a pretty cool guy, but he's a very dirty fighter. Like you said, it ain't boxing unless there's cheating going on. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that's how a lot of the things are. This year, they're working on fining a lot of people for dropping out of fights, for cheating, for not showing up, so because last year was such a disaster for USA Boxing in St. Louis. I mean, we had people dropping out, people just not showing up, people cheating and
the
stuff.
night I went down to the gloves, there was supposed to be 12, 14 fights. There was only 6 or 7.
Yeah. So what was it, Friday when we went to the Golden Gloves? There was all 16 bouts were there. Every single one of them was
unusual.
there. But it's because they reinforced the fining penalties and stuff. So people's coaches are getting fined. People in themselves are getting fined now. And it's only because they had to do that. Last year, like you said, there was only a few fights, and we were actually most of them. We were 3 out of those 6, so because it was Warren, you, Jason, wasn't he there too? And I think Claude was supposed to fight, but your fighter dropped out or something. I can't remember. You had a bunch of dropouts last year, but pretty much over the period of time, the boxing scene is getting a little bit better now here in St. Louis. I know it started kind of falling apart, but now it's starting to get a little bit better.
Let's bring up Henry's fight and we'll watch some of that.
Oh, Henho. We got Henho.
Man, about to blow my ears out.
Oh, yeah.
Turn that one down just a bit.
So this round, I think
Is this the first round or not?
I don't think so. I think Frank titled it wrong, but I think this is the 3rd round, maybe the beginning of the 3rd round.
So if you guys want to watch Henry's fight a little bit better, you can go ahead and go to Golden Gloves St. Louis on YouTube, Golden Glove STL, and you will be able to find his whole entire fight. It's at the angle too.
This first round?
No, this is 2nd round, I think.
2nd round, okay. I like the first round. We walked out there and popped him with that jab.
That's.
No, that was the first one. This one was.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, yep, it is. Yeah, you
so
can
that's
okay,
the
let's
first
go.
one.
Let her roll.
This was a fantastic.
He always is. Come on, son.
Henry's in the black. The other guy's in the blue.
Let him go, Henry. Let him go. Keep out that, Henry, to see him up. Keep on his chin. Stop. Let me have it, Henry. Come on, son.
I really like the Golden Gloves, the video that they took.
Yeah, I know it has way
that,
better.
that video is fantastic.
I have that on my computer. I didn't think about maybe we could. I don't know if we could have downloaded that or not.
I don't know. We were but okay. So, anyways, in that fight, one of the problems that I was having was I'd get in too close, and then we'd end up wrapping up, and then I would have to start all over and start from from far away too. One of the things I was moving my head a lot because I wasn't trying to get stuck in the corner and take a few punches and trade off because the ref had stopped the fight before for a guy taking too many punches, and that was our guy.
I don't understand
And
that ref.
He called the fight, so I've never taken a chance whenever he's been my ref of getting hit too much.
Yeah,
because I don't want to get an A count or.
Yeah, he's one.
he hands him out like candy, man.
Yeah.
He stopped Claude's fight because he had a bloody nose on that one time.
Yeah.
So
because we had forgot to tell him
Claude
he
was
chronic
winning
bleeder.
at that time. He was coming on.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I was trying to I was thinking about when I was in there. But actually, the first round, the whole time I was getting ready, and when I stepped up in the ring, I was so calm and so relaxed.
Yeah.
I didn't have any nervousness until maybe a little bit when I was getting prepped. And I kind of just stared him down the whole time when we walked up to each other, looked straight in his eyes. I was like, all right, I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
And as soon as the round started, I went straight for the jab. That's
Yeah.
what Coach always said. Establish your jab or your power or whatever in the first round so they know.
And it worked. I think it really worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit him, his head jerked back, and he kind of stayed away from you, man. He really did. Go ahead and play that second round. Ding, ding, ding.
Is this second?
This is second
Yeah, I
round
think
right
this is
here. It's
second
titled
round, yeah.
incorrectly, but this is the second round. Enjoy the extra guy eating the burger right there.
Shit. Come on, son. There you go.
So I remember when you asked me in one of the rounds, his headgear got twisted. And
Yeah.
you said why didn't pressure? It's because when I was turning, I lost my footing. And that's when his headgear was turned, and you can kind of see in the video. You can see it better in the
other one.
Golden Gloves video.
Yeah.
But I was going to the left and I lost my footing a little bit.
I
That's when he
didn't
started fixing his headgear,
Mm.
and that's why I didn't go after him right then and there. And I couldn't remember why, because I remember his headgear being turned. But
you nailed him, and it kind of stunned him, or at least knocked his head. He looked a little bit stunned.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he straightened his headgear. It was a good
That's when I
shot.
was turning. Because I remember my foot. I was going to the left, and my foot kind of got caught on the mat, or I
something.
didn't lift it up enough.
Yeah.
And I lost my balance, and that's when he started fixing his headgear, and then we started going back at it.
Yeah.
But it was a good fight. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
One
it
of
was
the things
good.
that I have an issue with is if they hit me and it doesn't hurt, it takes me more to get going and to feel
I was
the pressure.
same
Yeah.
way. I almost got to be hurt. I used to, but always had to be hurt before I could really
Yeah.
get going. I think.
Well, I
I
really
remember thinking, I don't do something, I'm gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
well, that's the best, honestly. Even when you and I sparred, Dad, the only reason why I got when we first started the videos, you see us, we kind of started off slow. But as soon as I felt one of the punches, I'm like, I have to press you. I had to press you. I'm like, I can't get punched by one of those again because it hurts.
the same thing when Claude. Remember, he's trying to take advantage of his father. Adult abuse is what it is. Anyway, yeah, he's punched me so much. I don't know. I thought if I don't throw something back, he'll beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to do something.
That's really the thing. I think that fight or flight kicks in, and that's when you
Yeah.
decipher whether you're
Yeah.
fight or flight. You know what I
You
mean?
gotta do
So-
something.
You want to
Yeah.
play that last clip, Frank? This is the third round, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this was a close fight, really.
Mhm. And if you guys, like I said, if you guys want to watch it, go to Golden Gloves STL on YouTube, and you will find it. It's a amazing angle.
No cheap backs over here, dog. Come on.
Comes the bulker back, right? Bulking up that hot dog.
Man,
I have a really good jab.
yeah.
But one of the things, like I said, I was having trouble when I was going up against him was I'd come in too much. I'd be too
Mhm.
close.
Too close, yeah.
And by then, I'd throw a punch and it'd either wrap around his head or wrap around his body. And I'm like, okay, now I got to.
You guys had actually thrown the same. What was it?
It was a right hand. But the reason, I started to realize this more as I watched the video. The reason I threw a right hand was because I seen a right hand coming.
Coming.
And I was like, I gotta throw something, but I also gotta move my head.
Yeah.
And I don't like when I'm boxing. I have a hard time moving my head to the left.
Mhm.
So the best way I could think of to move my head to the left was to throw a right.
And that's whenever they locked.
Yeah.
It was loud. It was
Yeah,
loud
we
as hell.
locked it.
They
We hit-
locked arms.
Yeah,
And,
he said his bicep hurt afterwards, but
but not Henry's.
we
man.
did it. We did it twice. There was one time we did it. It was like small,
Mhm.
and then the second time
Was-
we really like.
Yeah, you guys locked
clapped,
arms and
yeah.
everything. It was loud as hell. It was like a loud pop, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I can see what's coming at me, and sometimes I just react.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I threw a right hand too, and then that's why we like kind of smacked
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, it was a pretty fun fight. I mean, I was pretty calm afterwards, and even before. I will say though, after I started walking down the steps, I guess the adrenaline started coming down, and I started getting super dizzy.
Yeah.
Like I was walking down
Really?
the steps, and I almost didn't make it down the steps.
Huh.
And they were flashing the light at me. The doctor was, and he goes, "You okay? You feeling good?" I'm like, "I'm fine." He's like, "Okay." He didn't even check me.
He's an older guy.
Yeah.
He don't really care too much about it.
And it wasn't. I wasn't dizzy because I had gotten punched or anything like that. I was just. I guess the adrenaline started coming down. And that whole night, I stayed up all that night, like till the next day because I couldn't sleep.
Mm,
I just could not sleep at all because I was so pumped up from
Yeah.
that fight. It took like a whole week for me to finally like kind of recover from.
Frank actually
lack of
just
sleep from
put Henry's Golden Gloves fight into the chat right there. So if you guys want to go watch it after the fight, go ahead.
Yeah,
and
it's a
click
lot
that
better
link.
view. It's from up above.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Golden Gloves themselves. They actually had hired a camera crew and they had a whole entire setup there. So along with pictures, they had something set up on the ring. They didn't have that last year. They just started that
Yeah,
this year, so
and they
that's
got
pretty
some
good.
really good, like,
Hopefully they'll do it for a
angles
whole
of
lot of
And
other
then
fights.
Paulina got to sing the national anthem how many times?
every
4
night, every
Yeah,
night.
at every fight, the Golden Gloves. And we was gonna have her here, but she's in there sleeping.
Lazy.
So anyway, but we could play a little bit of her. You got her song? We'll play a little bit of her singing. There she is. Stand up straight, Paulina.
Remove your hats if you guys have a hat on. Just saying.
I don't think we're gonna worry about that here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, we're so proudly waiting, at the twilight glistening, whose touch shines and rays so through the endless sky, on the ramparts we watch, we're so gallantly street.
They need one of these.
Cut it off.
No, that's it.
They need one of these.
Yeah.
They need a pop filter.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, the acoustics aren't the best. They
When-
weren't too bad there.
When
though.
we were at the fights, was it this last weekend?
Yep.
And she was singing the national anthem. I started getting hot and like,
Yeah.
because I was like, all I could think about was her messing up on the words or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember all that. Especially in front of all, I mean, I'll fight. I'll get up there and fight.
Yeah.
But to get me to sing, I'd forget
Yeah,
the words.
I
when
know,
get up
right?
there.
It's the same nervousness stage
Yeah.
fright
Yeah.
when you get up there. But she said she sang Friday, but last night she couldn't. How do you say? Carry it out to a different tone or higher note
higher
because
pitch.
her voice. Yeah, she strained her voice. So,
Mm.
so last night I listened to the one last night, but actually that one there was better than the one.
Yeah. That was the first night that
that
she
was the
sang.
first
it.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
but her voice is not. If she sings 2 nights in a row, it
Yeah.
gets-
It's a lot of strain.
So
You know,
she can bring up 2 or 3 notes when she's doing it.
Yeah,
It really sounds
she's
cool.
got I don't think she has a what do they call that? She doesn't have a there's a name for that. She has really good range. So she can get from like down
Yeah.
low all the way up to as high as you can possibly
But she
get.
said she has to start out low if she
Yeah,
wants to go up high
yeah,
or something.
yeah. It makes sense because it's like it's the range discovery. So like it's a big thing like in music and everything.
Yeah, it's
but-
pretty cool. That's
No, I remember the first night she sang it. Like the last night that she sang it, the other night when we were there. What was it? Friday night, I think it was. We were there. She sang and it was a full house. Like, I mean, so many people that there was, you could almost not even sit down because it was the finals of the Golden Glove. So more people showed up than they did the few nights before.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people, and I'm sitting there just looking at the crowd. I'm like, who's talking crap? But no, I know, obviously that's just how we are.
Yeah.
But no, everybody was sitting there smiling. Everybody's like, man, that's pretty good. And after she got off, she's walking through, and I was like, man, you did so good. You did fantastic. So, I mean, they like it quite a bit.
It takes a lot of courage to get up in front of people. That's the same thing. It's like when you get in the ring, when you first get in there, you're the only one in there.
Yeah.
Usually, or one of you, or maybe sometimes. So all the attention's on you, and of course, when the other opponent. But when she's up there singing, everybody's looking at her. Everybody's listening to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know.
That's why I said like I'd be too afraid to sing. I'd get up there and fight, but
she said last night some girl was laughing at her. You got the haters.
Yeah, of course. Well, shoot, you got to think about one of the first times that I performed. I performed at Fubar. That was the first time I had ever performed, man, and I was nervous as hell. And I was haters. Yeah, of course. I had said something about because the song's name was Mood, and I was like, oh, let me see. I was like, I got up there and it was real quiet. I'm like, I got to do something. I got to say something. So I was like, I got to entice the crowd, and then I was like, this is for anybody who thinks they can ruin my mood. And it was funny to say that because then somebody's like, oh, screw your mood. But then everybody else kind of looked over and the song started and everybody's like, oh man, like this sounds good. I still remember that was one of the first times we performed, and I was like, now what I could do is let that person get a hold of me. But I just kind of laughed and I was like, there you go. That exactly right there. And got the crowd kind of laughing and more on my side than anything. I was like, all right, bet, I'm like, I got this. It's crowd control. You got to learn how to control that crowd.
Another thing about it is that like, people are going to laugh at you, or like, if you're like, just like when people watch you in the ring, you got to think about it. It's like a lot of people watch the fights, but who's willing to step up?
There you go. And that was the one thing I was going to say.
Sitting there talking about how he should have thrown this or he should have done that.
Yeah.
But it's like, and they've never even really stepped in.
The thing with the podcast here and people who do YouTube, you got the haters out there saying this or your show's lame or whatever they say, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, it always comes from below. It never comes from above.
One of the things that Henry said, I remember it was his first fight. I remember that he said that when he got up in there, I was like, what'd you think about the crowd? And he used a little bit more profanity, but he was like, screw everybody, screw every single one of you. You guys aren't in here. And I was, it was like, yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah, you kind of got to think like that, be a little arrogant because like Henry said, are you up there? And even that person, like, right before I got up to Fubar, right before I started rapping, I got to thinking, I'm like, after I got down, I was like, that dude wouldn't even, think to come up here and try to perform. And then what's funny is, after that, now granted, my homie, he had a lot of he was doing really, really good with the music stuff. But then there you go. I went from Fubar to performing in Pops over across the bridge in Illinois. You know what I mean? So it went from a tiny little venue, it was more of a rock venue, but it was a competition. And it was a coast to coast live. I still remember that. It was 2017 when I first performed. Then not even, 2019? So 17, 18, 19. So about 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later, I'm performing at Pops. And then not even 2 months after that, we were going on tour. We went to Jackson, Mississippi. We went twice. And then we went to Atlanta 2 times to perform at a huge park event. And then I want to say we performed 3 or 4 times in St. Louis and then one across the bridge again. And then came back and then left again to go to Mississippi. And then we were supposed to go to Miami, Florida, go perform. And then the dun, dun, dun happened, you know what I mean? And then it just kind of got everything just kind of screwed up. And unfortunately, I threw my friend off the rails and everything. And it just kind of went to a collapse. But that's another thing too, is recently I've been working on a lot of music and I'm thinking about, am I prepared to perform? Am I prepared to perform? Of course, I'll always be prepared to perform. I love getting up on stage. I like that feeling. Right before, I remember the last show that we did in Illinois at Pops, I remember being down there and just looking out and just hearing everybody saying our names, screaming our names. And I'm like, my stomach started dropping because not only are there a bunch of people there to see us, but they're expecting a great performance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, bro, me and my buddy, we're sitting there. I'm like, you nervous? He's like, dude, I'm sick. And we were both sitting there we're just feeling sick as hell. But as soon as they're like, so-and-so and so-and-so is coming up, give them a round of applause. The whole venue was just screaming, people I had never even met. They were just screaming their heads off. And I was like, all right. I'm like, we can't, you can't turn back now, So we went out there.
It's easy to get addicted to that.
Yeah. Oh, and it was.
Attention. So
Yeah.
you see all these girls on my Instagram and all these likes.
Yeah.
Why that's so important.
I know I got addicted to it. I was ready to go perform in Miami, and Miami's way tougher of a crowd because they already have seen almost everything.
Yeah.
But we had, like you said, I got addicted to that. I was like, let's go. When we got out there, just trying to get my job when I was up there was more crowd control. So I was a hype man. So I'm like, all right, I have to keep this crowd going. All my homie had to do was just pretty much rap and remember his lyrics. So really trying to keep control of that crowd. Reading the crowd is a big, big, big part of that. It's not like boxing. You get in there and you read the other guy. That's all you have to do.
And you got to hit him.
Yeah. So
I try not to get hit.
I think it's more nerve-wracking for me to try to read one person than it is a room full of people. You know what I mean? Because let's say there's a group of 10, you're really having fun and there's one person. I'm going to focus on that group of 10. You know what I mean? So I got really addicted to that. I really liked it. But I'm ready to start doing that again. And hopefully by this summer, I'll be performing again. That's my goal here soon, along with the boxing as well.
Yeah, the boxing's been awesome. I've gotten way better.
Yeah.
And a lot of rounds, a lot of hours in the gym, a lot of miles ran, a lot of time in the sauna, cutting weight, It's all worth it though, because even if you do lose, after you get done, you sit there and think, I did all that work and did all that, and I fought, and even though I lost, I still got to showcase my skills.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So even if you don't win, as long as you look at it like that, you're not losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're learning from your mistakes, and you'll be a better boxer. But two, you're also becoming, this different person. You're like, yeah, man, all that work went in. It was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not so much what you win or what you get or what you achieve. It's what you become in the process.
Yeah.
Really, people forget that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people focus on the end goal or when they get there.
When you get there, everything's gonna be great when you get there.
But it's
you're already there.
The whole journey, going through everything, the struggles, being sick or getting hurt, or it's all part of it.
It's all part of the memory.
And I know we've talked about it plenty of times before with you, Claude. But what about you? Like whenever you would cut weight and get down, you never had problems cutting weight, obviously. But when you cut weight, get down, and you were ready, you did all the sparring, and then boom, you didn't even fight. I mean, like, how did it, some people haven't heard about that and how you feel about it, but like, how do you feel about when you did put in all that work? Did you feel like it was a waste? Did you feel like it was worth it because now you're a great fighter? Like, what are your opinions on it?
I never really got discouraged too much because I know I was like, well, if he's not going to show up, I guess God's got a better plan for me.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's not my time to fight
Trust
yet.
God.
But I was also thinking, I'm like, man, like, where the hell is this guy? Like, where is he? Like, if he's not here, I was like, he's obviously somewhere out there.
He's cowering back in the shadow.
And I was also thinking about how that one time Frank and I had the exhibition, I was supposed to fight that guy. Yeah, I weighed him by 8 pounds. So I was like, man, should have just thrown him in there. Let me whoop his ass. Because then when I watched him fight, he took I think it was a left hook to the face, and dude,
he crumbled it.
Like started flying.
Oh, I remember that.
He flew into his corner like he got hit by a dude who was 180 pounds.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, he's gonna act like that. I was like, should let me get in there. I would have given them a show.
So what drove you to keep going? Because most people would give up.
You guys are really you're persistent. A lot of people would give up. I didn't have that. I'll say maybe bad luck or whatever it happens to be. I was fortunate to be able to win my fights, but it wasn't quite as. The guys you all are fighting have done, they all had the same problem. They had to fight people who are a lot better than me.
Yeah.
My fights were probably more evenly matched when I started, so I didn't have the challenge that you had.
Well, even Henry's first fight, you remember Battle of the Bridges in Springfield. He fought that guy. We have not seen him since. He quit. He quit boxing. Henry TKO'd him second round.
But the first one guy you fought, he that beat you. He had like 7 losses and a couple.
My second fight, which was with Minaj, he had 6 fights. My third fight, he had 8. My fourth fight, that guy was 0-5, so he wanted to win.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, he was hungry for that one. Yeah.
My fifth fight, it wasn't USA Boxing like sanctioned. But I won that one.
Yeah,
I was super aggressive. Plus, I didn't have to make weight as bad on that one, so I was able to
You ended up breaking the dude's face or something like that.
Yeah, I broke his nose and gave him a concussion.
Yeah.
And then my last fight, that was his 10th fight. So
Yeah, and that was also when you had that fight with that guy with I can't remember what his name was, but
Maheen.
yeah, but you ended up, I mean, you dogged him. You dogged him, you know. So
and went all 3 rounds.
all 3 rounds.
Are you watching? You need to come in here now.
But no, so like I mean, for pretty much like I was asking you, Claude, like, so most people would have gave up after their 3rd fight, you know, because everybody lives by that 3rd time's a charm. Most people would have gave up after the 3rd time trying to fight, and that person dropping out. I guess what I'm asking is like, why didn't you drop out, and what kept you from dropping out and not stopping boxing and continuing to box even harder?
He knows I don't tolerate losers. That's
Yeah.
Joke.
Well, one thing about it was what's it called? I think the reason I didn't get discouraged or that I didn't give up was because I thought, I was like, all right, well, all I got to do is get back in there, and there's probably some things I can hone, you know. There's a couple more things I could work on that, you know, I haven't worked on. It gave me more time to like work on my skill. And then I was also thinking, I was like, I may have not have gotten that fight, but I was like, but eventually I'll get one. I was like, I just got to wait for the right time. Like the right time is going to come, you know. And I didn't think about, like, it was regardless of winning or losing. I wasn't thinking about me end up losing a fight. I was getting a little impatient having to go there and not be able to fight like 2 or 3 times. But then eventually coach told me that I had a fight, and showed up, and I was like, all right, bet. I was like, let's get to work, you know.
Yeah, coach always talks about be prepared, because you never know, you might get a last minute call in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, while
There's
you're there.
guys that just go to the fights and hang out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so let's see if they can get a fight.
Yeah,
For
'cause
sure.
You can get put in last minute. That's why coach always brings up books, and why we always got to like try to keep a good weight.
Yeah,
close,
because you never know whenever you might have to get thrown up in there. You know, it's really important to just constantly be on point. You know, on edge constantly for those fights. You know, because you never know when it could happen.
Well, tell me this: how does it affect you guys knowing that you can fight in the other parts of your life, like when you're out in the city or you're out just anywhere, when you're out among people, when you're socializing? How does that affect your attitude about yourself, your attitude about life, and how you feel about yourself in general?
So I have a good one for this. So I remember a while back. Wow, this was probably like when I was a year and a half in boxing or whatever. And I was with my ex, and we were walking into this store, and I didn't open the door for her. You know, I'm just walking in, and this dude opens the door for her, and he called me an asshole because I didn't open the door for her. And I'm just like, whatever, you know. I was like, because I knew I could whoop him or whatever. I was like, I didn't care. But that's the thing too. It's like when I'm out, I'm not ever worried, or like when I'm like walking out late at night or something, I don't ever have to worry because I know I can fight.
Yeah,
and I'll be good, you know. And even if it is like 2-3 guys, I'm gonna try to fight.
yeah.
I might get beat up a little, but I can
yeah.
back them off and up.
Yeah, for sure.
Compared to before, I used to think I was good at fighting until I got caught at the Jack in the Box one time, and this dude grabbed me by my shirt and just punched me in the face. I'm like, all right. I was like, you got me. You got me. So, you know, and he was like 30 something years old, grown-ass man. But I kind of brought that one on myself because I was just partying and stuff, and I got mouthy and stuff. But yeah, no, it feels different being able to know that like I can actually fight if I have to. You know,
I always thought I was a pretty tough guy until I got in the ring with guys who really knew how to fight, and then I found out something different.
Yeah, what about you, Claude? How do you feel about it now that you know? Because you know you're not that type of guy to fight. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I know from a lot of other people that you give a different level of respect when they know, people know that like, you know how to fight. It's funny because 1 minute a person will be like, "Hey, I want to spar you," and then when you're ready, they're like, they start to get nervous. It's like, oh man, like they wonder like what I get myself into. It's like, you know, I'm not gonna kick your ass.
Yeah,
but you know, but I'll get in there. I'll throw a couple punches,
100%.
you know? And then people know it's almost like when you know how to fight, people got to watch out because it's almost like they're stepping on eggshells.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
You know, if
They don't want to cross. They don't cross that boundary. You know,
they don't
like
want to cross that boundary.
I know knowing how to fight through the years has kept me out of a lot of fights. Because even though people might mouth off, they're just not quite sure because they know I can fight. They know I'm a boxer, and they don't know if they want to find out or not. So that a lot of times your reputation will keep you out of fighting.
Yeah.
And also, like Henry said, when I was fighting and sparring, or even when I'm sparring on a regular basis, I don't really care. A guy can almost come up to me and tell me to get F to my face, and I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
Yeah.
When I'm not fighting, I got more of a little bit of a chip on my
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just almost looking for
I
something.
get punched in the head once in a while. It keeps that
Yeah.
cockiness out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've experienced a lot. You know, you guys know, like I always was fighting whenever I was in school and stuff like that. You know, I love to just pick fights because I knew I could win. You know, even with the guys I didn't know if I could win, they would back out because I just ran my mouth so much. You know, but I've noticed like since I started boxing, like you guys said, reputation keeps
Hit that
me,
like button, guys. We got 5 people watching.
keeps
Only
people
one like.
keeps
Come on.
people from it keeps people from wanting to I guess get into it with me. That definitely that my reputation does. But on top of that too, I've noticed that that like Henry said, I don't really pick fights no more like I used to, and a lot of the times, some people will say certain stuff or look at me some type of way. Like, back before I was fighting, someone would look at me some type of way. I'm like, what, you got a problem, man? What's up? What's going on? You know what I mean? And just, out of nowhere, end up starting a fight with somebody that I didn't need to start a fight with. I also got a son now, that I got to think about too. But because I know how to fight, I feel like I can properly protect him. You know what I mean?
Another thing I was thinking about, because you were saying that, is a lot of people wouldn't step up to you because of the fact that, like, even though you were smaller and like we're both smaller than a lot of people, it's kind of like a school bully. They surprise you whenever you're like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's fight right now.
Whenever
It's
a lot of
shocks them.
a lot of the bigger guys will try to punk you, will try to press you, and then you're like, "All right, what's up? Let's get with it." And then it's like, "Oh crap." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
he's
oh man,
about it.
he's actually about that life. You know what I mean? And like I said, I feel like I can protect myself, my kid, and my girlfriend properly. That's one of the things. Like recently during New Year's, I know there was somebody outside of our house, and my girlfriend just so happened to see somebody walking outside of our house with a flashlight. I'll tell you, before I was in boxing, I probably would have stayed inside and been like, all right, well, let's just wait. Let's just, see what's going on. Maybe he'll knock on the door or something. Man, I went out there. I was ready to get whatever going. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have been able to do that because prior to boxing, I was scared. One of the reasons what got me into boxing was I was scared of everybody and scared of everything. I was scared of the world. And, social media tends to do that to you, a little bit,
Yeah.
and, we listened to Andrew Tate and stuff like that. And one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was that he believes that every man should be in some sort of combat sport. And I definitely believe that because not only does it teach you to protect yourself and everybody that you love, but it gives you that, like Dad says, for lack of better words, that you know what I mean? That go, like that feeling of just
if you got low testosterone, you get in a contact sport like it, it'll raise it up.
It'll
because
raise
you
it up.
only need testosterone if you got to do something. If you really got to.
Yeah.
And that's why guys are low on testosterone. They don't do any straining. They don't struggle. They don't have adversity. They don't have anything to.
Yeah.
Well, they don't need it.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything.
Yeah. And a lot of people who join, for example, I just recently had one of my buddies join, and he's quite overweight, but he said he's felt the need for something, and he doesn't know what that is. But ever since he got into boxing, he feels welcome. He likes it. And I was explaining to him on our way back from the fight, I'm like, it's your body craving that as a man, you're craving that testosterone, you're craving that boost, and when you get overweight, your testosterone drops, dude, so much. Like, and I can account for that because I'm 5'5", I'm really not that tall, but I got to like 190, dude. I've never been so big in my life, and I could not move. I didn't feel good. I felt horrible. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want nothing. I stayed at home, ate, and played video games. Those are the things that I did, and I got that false sense of testosterone boost that from playing the games. I'm like, going crazy from it. But then I got back to Missouri, got into boxing, and I really felt it. Henry, you and I have both of us, actually, all three of us, we have really good chemistry when we get to sparring with each other. Most people don't understand what I mean when I say that, but what it is, it's just pretty much, you guys get to move in 3 well-trained fighters. We get to move in, we get to, going off of each other. I feel your guys' power and you guys feel mine. So we get to going at each other, because if not, one of us is going to wind up getting hurt, hurting each other and whatnot. But that's like one of those things, for me personally, the boxing and everything has made me feel like more of a man. It's made me feel like more of a man.
Yeah. One thing I like about it though, also is that, whenever we walk into any place, we bring a different kind of energy into the room. whenever we walk in, we bring a different kind of energy into the room. Everybody's looking at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
It's like-
100%. I mean,
like before, everybody used to be like, oh, it's crazy, it's the Daniels, and then or it's like it's a 3 oldies.
Mhm.
But then when you walk in, it's like, ooh, it's,
yeah,
a 3 oldies.
100%. And that's one of those things, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody for those likes. That's one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes down to it, you know, it's not necessarily, we don't really want people to be scared of us. No, it's like, you know, you kind of,
I do.
no, yeah, I know he does. Yeah, no, but
Joking.
but you know, it's just it's really what I've learned. It's a lot about the respect. You know, we've already gotten a lot of respect from people and everything, and for the most part, you know, most people, I wouldn't say they feared us, but think about it like this: we're definitely not the tallest guys in the room. You know what I mean? We aren't, but it's just how you carry yourself. We carry ourselves like we're 6'6", and because we carry ourselves, we're like that. People treat us like that. You know, think about some of the greatest leaders and some of the mob bosses. Al Capone was like 5'3". Christopher Columbus was like 5 foot. You know, some of the greatest conquerors and some of the greatest emperors in the world were short. And so be like, oh, that's that short man syndrome. Yeah, well, it got him to where he was at. He was powerful.
Yeah,
was
but
it?
you
Was
believe it.
Was that picture of Napoleon?
Napoleon, he was tiny, bro. He was super small too, you know. So
Yeah, back then men were very tall anyway. So.
yeah, no. So like going back to it, think about it like this: we've gotten into situations where the dudes were like, you know, we know somebody who's like 6'6", and he's constantly getting beat up, like, you know, and it's like, you know, you would think that height would do a little bit, but it means nothing. And some of the guys that he's fought before, like, they're really not all that, you know. And I mean, for example, like we were at the arcade a while back. They had that punching machine, you know, like the machine that you punch and it gives you the numbers. We were sitting there punching it, getting some of the highest scores. We were going back and forth with each other. Like I wasn't going to stop until he did, and he wasn't going to stop, so I wasn't going
My
to stop.
rib was sore too from taking a body shot earlier that day.
Yeah, so it was crazy. We went back and forth at it. But then when we walked off, these 2 or 3 corn-fed, big old, like 6 foot, 250-pound guys came up and were punching it and weren't even reaching some of the scores that we were, you know. So and that wasn't just because we were punching it hard. No, we had technique. You know, we had
people don't realize how hard a person could punch when they learn how to box and how their power progresses as the years roll by.
Yeah, because it's more than just throwing your arm.
Yeah.
You know, when you realize, for example, like most of us are too, unless you're Claude, you know, left-handed guy over here. You got to learn how to, you know, you really got to learn how to pivot your body. And when you pivot that body along with throwing that punch, most people are just sitting there punching, you know, or just coming from back here. You know, it's not a haymaker that's the hardest punch. It's really like Dad has taught us many times. It's the short punches. The punches that don't look like they hurt are the ones that hurt the worst, you know. Those are the ones that always had gotten me. Those are the ones that I always seen Dad get people with, you know what I mean? So
it's funny because people always think that those haymakers are what's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, it's that straight punch that makes their head snap back.
Yeah.
It hurts the person throwing them because they use so much energy.
Yeah. Yep.
They wear
Exactly.
that guy down.
I know. I fought somebody in the past, and he was throwing haymakers. He ended up breaking his hand on my my head, and I'm like, "Come on!"
Really hurts the worst is when you're sparring a guy, and you both jab, and you step in when you're jabbing.
Oh,
and he throws his
man.
jab, so you kind of collide.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you get hit right in the nose, and it
Yeah.
just it's. I won't say this is about as bad as a body shot, but it's close because it kind of just
Stuns you.
you're like,
Well,
damn,
think about it like this: you and I, 2 times already that you've knocked. One, the first time was a flash knockout, and the second one was pretty much a cold knockout. I landed on my knees, but I did exactly that. I stepped into it, and watching the videos, the punches don't look hard at all, but it's just they were just so perfectly landed and everything. It was lights out for me. You know, the first time it felt like it was a long blink, and then I looked and then I opened my eyes, and he's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And I'm like, "Why are you even asking that?" But then I realized, I'm like, I think I got knocked out. Then we got to talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, that's a flash knockout." And I was like really confused, for a lack of better words. I kept telling him, I was like, "Man, I'm so confused." He's like, "Confused about what?" I'm like, "I'm just confused."
That's how I felt after I got knocked out the first time. But it happened like twice in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's like what Henry's saying. That's a very scary feeling. You know, that's right there. That right there would push a lot of people off from boxing. You know what I mean? Like that's what would keep me. What kept me from boxing, or not kept me from boxing, but what almost got me to quit boxing was getting knocked out. I don't know if maybe you guys have had instances where you guys were like, I don't know if this is for me. I mean, have you guys had instances like that?
I don't know. The only time I don't think I've ever had anything like that. I mean, when I got knocked out, I was like, okay. I was like, I do like this. I was like, I don't like that, so I got to move on. It's like, I do like this boxing stuff. I've gotten hit with some of those body shots, and they've knocked me down too. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever really had a moment where I was like, besides when I'm getting ready to go in the ring, I'm like, what am I doing? You know,
Yeah.
like those stuff. Like, why am I here? Or why am I
Yeah.
doing this to
Yeah.
myself? You know?
Yeah.
I could just have a peaceful life.
Yeah.
What about
Be all
you?
nervous.
What about you, Claude?
I think I've only ever gotten something like that twice. The first time I was going up against Warren, and he punched me, and I swore my eyes were open. I knew they were open. I mean, maybe, but all I could see was black for what felt forever. I'm like, man, I hope he doesn't punch me. Or like, wow,
Again,
I
while
felt like my
you,
eyes were open.
yeah,
And then the second time, that time I had gotten beaten up, it was I was so damn dazed I couldn't remember what the guy who buzzed me into the hotel looked like
oh yeah,
until I met him at the gas station
the other night.
Yeah, the other
Oh,
night.
okay, okay.
I couldn't remember what the hell he looked like. I
Yeah.
was so dazed, like nothing was like moving
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I couldn't even recognize him. I didn't know who he was.
What about you, Pops? Did you ever, in your amazing career of boxing, you know, for so long, like Olympic and everything, you know, no, but did you ever have something
Not
happen?
quite that amazing.
Did you ever have something happen to you where you were like, man, I don't know if this is for me?
Trying to think.
Well, you tell us about how you say you used to go to bed and your face would be
Yeah, I'd come home from the gym after working out with heavyweights. Guys were really, really good. They were ranked in the nation, top 10, one of the top 10 contender, all that crap. And I'd be so beat up, I'd be hoping I'd wake up in the morning. I couldn't breathe. My nose was so stopped up. My mouth would dry out because if you can't breathe through your nose, your mouth dries out. And then my tongue would crack. That didn't stop me, but I remember I got knocked out. I didn't want to quit, but I was afraid to get back in the ring. But I did get back, and it was almost like I lost the next fight, but I was just happy I didn't get knocked out. That kind of spooks you. But the time I got knocked down 3 or 4 times and lost that fight, I had just lost confidence in my coach because of reasons I won't go into, but I changed coaches then. But I can't. During the fight, I don't think, like you said, I remember a couple of times I got hit straight in the nose, and for about 10 seconds, you think, I don't want to be in here.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, even when I got my rib broken, that was painful as heck. I didn't want to stop, I guess. So I'm not sure if I ever really had anything happen that made me want to quit.
Yeah. The only time I ever had thoughts like that, really, like I said, was right before, like, I'm getting ready to go in a fight or like prepping, or like I'm like the week before, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
normal. I've had that before races and fights
Yeah.
and triathlons and all that stuff.
I know
So,
whenever we boxed and you knocked me out the first couple times, the second time after I was sitting down there, I was like, why am I doing this, dude? Like, you know, like I don't have to fight in war or nothing. Why am I doing this? You know, but then, and then one of the other times was, I want to say, whenever I boxed with Warren and he messed my neck up, I was sitting like, I had to move like this for like 2 to 3 weeks, and I couldn't fight normally. I couldn't spar with you guys no more. So I was like, dude, what is even the point of doing all of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny. I was thinking about it. I just remembered it. I can't remember if it was my first, second, or third fight where I was fighting so hard I popped a blood vessel in my eye.
and you're
Yeah, I
It wasn't
just now
from getting
remembered
hit?
that. I don't know. It wasn't from
Huh.
getting hit. I can't remember what it was, but I remember popping a blood vessel because when I looked this way, it was like right.
Yeah.
right
I know if
up
you
in
really
my eye.
strain or scream or yell
Yeah.
loud
Yeah.
enough, it'll do that. I've done that before.
I know whenever like I had to cut weight for in the sauna and like do all my miles running and everything, like I was like, man, dude, I'm sitting in the sauna thinking, what if I lose? I'm like, this sauna time is not even worth it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I remember my last pro fight, I had to dry out, and that was terrible. I went from 165 to 153 in like less than 24 hours, maybe. Put a plastic tin on me with a hair dryer and didn't drink any water, and sweat dried out like a sauna. Creative sauna. That was terrible.
yeah, no. There's a question about that.
Oh,
Possibly.
we got a question.
Yep.
Mackenzie. Oh, is boxing still exciting to you? Well, it is to me.
yeah, it is for me.
Oh, yeah.
Getting in the ring, you know, like my last fight, I was so excited. I was hyped up. I'm like, man, I'm ready for this. And the better I get, and the more I've been able to like control my emotions before like my fights or like
Mhm.
before a sparring session, the more exciting it gets for me, because all I can think about is how much better I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And then even afterwards, I'll get beat up and I'll be like, hey, that was good sparring session, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
right.
love fighting. Makes you feel alive. There's something I think there's a warrior in everybody, and maybe each person has a different way to express that on the football field, soccer, rugby,
Yeah.
tennis, whatever it happens to be. But for me, it's boxing. When I fight, we get in there and spar and do that. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like high. It's like taking drugs for me.
Mhm.
I remember.
Yeah, it's great.
Whenever we were practicing that counter drill, it was I was doing it up against Jesse and started getting pretty damn serious. But that started
Yeah.
getting fun.
Yeah.
And when it gets
Yeah.
serious, it starts
Yeah.
to get fun. And then that was also the first time I went up against that new Luke guy who's left-handed. Man, I mean, I thought it was gonna be hard, but it was actually a little bit easier than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, he's pretty good. But I've gotten to the point where I know where to move away from like the power against the left hand, even though I haven't gone up against too many of them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So it's like normal for you. Yeah, boxing's
Yeah.
pretty so exciting for me. I love whenever we get to talk about getting ready to spar and everything like
'Cause
that.
it's pretty much just like just looking at the mirror. You know where to move, but like if you're looking at the mirror, you throw a jab, you know where to move, like moving away from it and everything. So
Let's let me see what we can.
What are your plans for the next 2 to 4 months?
Honestly, I got a lot going on in the backgrounds too. So, but with boxing,
Yeah, what do you got going?
Yeah, go ahead and let everybody know.
Come on,
What's
come
special
on.
news? Come
With-
on.
with-
I was gonna mention that.
with boxing, I don't know, just planning to keep training, and the next 2 to 4 months, I'm probably gonna fight probably like 3 or 4 times.
Mm.
And we have all of like these next probably like 6 months, just all fights lined up.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's usually how it is in the summertime. I'm excited for the summertime stuff, so I can start running back outside. And I like using that little sleeve thing you guys got me. So I can
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
Music when I'm running. But I love running outside, especially when it's real hot. You get to sweat and you're drenched.
Yeah,
I don't like running on a treadmill because it's just
I do. I don't mind it. Claude, what are your plans? Sleep and
I was sick for a while, so hopefully
Eat Roman noodles.
Ramen noodles. Ramen
hopefully
noodles.
hopefully I can get my endurance back to the peak at where it was at. It's going pretty good, but I want to get my endurance a little higher than it was before, and gonna try to bring that beast out of me again, like it was in that last fight, and just pretty much focus on the gym as much as I can.
I plan on losing this weight. If I got up, you guys would see how fat I got, but I'm not gonna do that to you guys. But no, by losing this weight, getting out of this hellscape of being fat, and I want to say hopefully in like 2 to 4 months, hopefully I'll get a fight. I think this summer I'll end up fighting again. So
If I get in shape, I'd fight an exhibition maybe again.
yeah,
you could.
And
too.
then-
Those people have done it.
yeah, oh yeah, and then let me see. Oh, and then music. So be ready, guys. If you guys are on here, and just be prepared to listen to some of the music I'm going to be dropping here soon within the next 2 to 4 months, and then hopefully performing in the next 5 to 6 months. What about you, Pops? What are your plans for the next 2 to 4 months?
Keep. How would I say that?
Hopefully move out and get out of the country for a while.
Keep maybe travel and keep progressing in the business, the family business.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm enjoying right now, and growing that. And, I enjoy working out, sparring, and lifting a little bit. I'm still working on getting my neck back in shape. So, I don't know, just enjoying my life, really.
Yeah.
Enjoying watching you guys grow up.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? We're just so perfect.
I was just thinking about how Dad said he was talking about getting his neck back in shape and stuff. And I've noticed ever since I started doing that weight thing, where I put that thing on
Yeah.
there. When I get punched now, I just kind of eat it.
I know
It
your head
doesn't-
don't go back.
Yeah,
like, it
my
don't
neck
snap
is like
back.
a lot stronger.
Yeah,
So like when
yeah.
I get hit, I can absorb the punch. Plus, I've learned how to absorb punches better.
Mhm.
But I like use my arms to block punches and stuff.
Yeah,
I
for
get
sure,
that in my
for
shoulder.
sure.
I have a lot of goals. I just don't talk about them publicly. I keep
Yeah.
them secret.
Yeah, one thing I really liked after we went to sparring was that I really liked that you had brought up while I was sparring against Dad and sparring against everybody is that time when I sparred yesterday, man, I kept my left hand up the entire time.
Again,
I
yeah,
didn't
that
drop it at all.
That was one of your downfalls, quite
Yeah,
literally.
tell them about when I made you cry. You tell 'em about
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
I'm joking.
if I recall, you're right next to that joint. I was going in.
Well, I think we're reaching
yeah, okay.
we're reaching a closing here in the
Yeah, let's
podcast.
wrap it up.
So thank you guys for commenting, for all the likes and everything. Tune back in next Saturday. We will have a podcast next Saturday.
Or Sunday.
No, so it'll be next Saturday. I'll make sure it happens. You
Okay,
guys,
well.
if they're not going to be there,
next Saturday is what's his name's fight.
Well, I'll be here. So
Okay, well, because it starts at 7.
Who's
so-
fighting?
okay.
Ryan.
Ryan, the
Ryan.
guy,
The,
the
guy that I spar. all
pros
the
at
time.
Hendricks
okay.
class. Actually, so yeah, no, I don't know. We'll see about that. You guys will
Where's he
get some.
fighting at?
I'm not sure. Supposedly it's a really nice event, and we could dress up.
Oh,
Is what Coach told me.
might as well have to do that. Okay, well, maybe tune in next Sunday. Well,
Yeah.
if you guys follow Mark's Inspiration, my father, on Instagram, Facebook, or anything, you guys will,
TikTok
or TikTok, you guys will get a notification, or you guys will be informed on when the next podcast
Could
is.
start the podcast early before we.
Yeah, we could. We could do that.
We could
So-
still do Saturday. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Emery. Thank you,
Yeah.
Wade Emery, for watching. Thank you, Mackenzie, for your questions, and Peyton for commenting. So I think you guys want to say anything? Any burning desires? as they say?
No, I'm
No.
done, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.
See you later.